together a list of 20 Orlando facts that you may or may not know. So watch this video all the way to the end. Let me know in the comments down below how many of these did you already know and maybe something you learned new. So fact number one is Orlando has over 100 different lakes in it, of which one of the largest in the city is Lake Eola. But did you know it was actually a sinkhole, and down in the middle it goes down to like 80 feet deep. And so people ask me all the time, like, are the sinkholes a problem here in Orlando? Well, we don't have a ton of them, but that's a pretty big one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Fact number two is that Orlando is the largest visited place in the entire country, if not close to the entire world. In 2019, there were 78 million visitors. 7 million of those came from overseas. We go back and forth between Vegas and Orlando on who's the number one, but with the conference kind of picking up, conferences at the Orlando Orange County Convention Center, plus Disney, plus Universal, it's easy to see why so many people are visiting here. Have you ever been to the new Taco Bell Cantina?
No, I haven't.
It's like Taco Bell, it's like a bar with Taco Bell mixed. You can drink there. I feel like I'm, as the great Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon said,
I'm too old for this.
Which leads really well into fact number three. In 1991, the movie Lethal Weapon 3 was being filmed right on this exact spot where the old City Hall used to be. Now, they spent like $36 million on the new City Hall, but what are they gonna do with the old one? Well, they hired Hollywood to come in and basically demolish the thing. It took them over 10 months to figure out how to do it, how to level a building next to the new one without harming it. So a lot of work and process went in and a little bit of film history here in Orlando. Fact number four, and we're gonna start getting into some real estate stuff now. So the Lake Nona region is over 17 square miles. It's inside the city of Orlando, and it's all owned by the Tavistock Group. They're a big developer that are kind of breaking up all of these different neighborhoods. So when you think of one company that owns 17 square miles of an entire city, it really hasn't been done anywhere else in Florida. It's kind of amazing to see one company develop out that large of an area. Now you've got Disney's campus over there, you've got a ton of different jobs coming to that area, UCF Medical School, there's a lot of crazy things. I've done a ton of different videos on Lake Nona, so make sure you check them out. Here's one that's not exactly on the list, but it's a fun fact. Did you know that it's almost exactly a mile around Lake Eola? Here it's 0.95 miles. So if you're a runner, a jogger, a biker, you can kind of keep track of exactly how many miles you went around by just different little waypoints. I like to run, and this is a cool place to do it. Did you know that Walt Disney World was not the actual first theme park here in Orlando? It was actually Gatorland back in 1949. And it wasn't until 22 years later until Walt Disney World actually came along. And so Gatorland, when they first opened, their claim to fame was that they had a 15-foot gator. It was the largest one in the world, and people flocked from all over Central Florida and Florida in general to see this thing. And so it's still around today. You can get there in a day pass. It's actually a lot of fun. In 1986, the NBA awarded the city of Orlando a new franchise for basketball, but how to go about actually naming this new franchise? So the Orlando Sentinel actually did a contest, and there were almost 3,000 people that sent in different names. The four names were Juice, Heat, Magic, and the Tropics. At the end of the day, the guy that was sort of the front man for the franchise, Pat Williams, got to decide of the four, and since he had just taken his daughter to Disney World, he chose the Magic, and it's been that ever since. Did you know that the tallest building in downtown Orlando is the former SunTrust building at 220 Orange? It stands at 441 feet, but do you know why they can't go higher in downtown Orlando? Well, because 2 miles away is the Business Executive Airport, and so as planes come in and they take off, they can't have buildings over a certain height. So downtown Orlando will always kind of be that mid-rise downtown area. They're gonna have to spread out instead of going up. Did you know that the city of Orlando actually used to have a naval base? Yeah, like as in people were training on how to do ships in the middle of the state. In 1998, the base was actually decommissioned, and you left 1,000 acres in the middle of the city with people wondering, what are we gonna do here? Well, the city got together with a bunch of developers who won a bid to turn it into today, which is now Baldwin Park, which is one of my favorite, more walkable communities in the city. You've got newer homes, townhomes, condos, all the way up through estate-sized houses, really cute little downtown area. Make sure you check it out. So let's talk about parks, and I'm not talking about theme parks. The city of Orlando has over 33 different zip codes divided up into different neighborhoods. And so in order to get to know sort of what area you're talking about, there's a lot of things named park here. There's Thornton Park, and College Park, and Audubon Park, and Wayview Park, and Delaney Park, and Avalon Park, and they're all over. So if you're trying to get to know Orlando a little bit better, make sure you check out the rest of our videos on our channel. We've broken down every one of these to make it a little bit easier for you. There's also Winter Park, and so Winter Park's not part of the city of Orlando, but number 10 is there's a lot of different winter names here, which is super confusing if you're from outside of the area. There's every day someone calls me and says, I'm looking to move to Winter Park, but they really mean Winter Garden. So there's Winter Springs, there's Winter Haven, there's Winter Park, there's Winter Garden. So yeah, make sure you reach out because it can get confusing. One of the reasons why Winter Park was named Winter Park was because a lot of the founding people were coming down, like the Rockefellers, were coming down from New York, Connecticut, the whole Northeast, and it was sort of their winter haven, essentially, even though they named it Winter Park. I couldn't figure out why the rest of the cities were named Winter something, but I have to believe that this was just sort of a settling place for a lot of Northerners trying to escape the snow, probably like a lot of you. The city of Orlando's original name wasn't Orlando, it was actually Jernigan, which I'm really glad that they changed the name. It was actually named after the first settler here. He was a farmer, came down from Georgia in 1842. It wasn't until 6 years later where he actually got the post office to come here and rename the town Orlando. In 1875, it was officially incorporated as the city of Orlando. The wild thing is that nobody knows where the city of Orlando name actually came from. There's no documents or history to it. All we know is that it finally made the change, and I'm glad it did. A funny thing about that, when it was incorporated in 1875, is that there were only 85 residents, of which at the time only 22 of those could actually vote. So things have definitely changed in 150 years or so. In 1908, the city decided, hey, we're gonna run a competition to name the city, right? Right now it's Orlando, we know this already, but like what's its nickname? What's gonna draw people here by its name alone? And at the time, it was known as the City Phenomenal, which I think is pretty phenomenal actually. But a woman named Jessie Branch actually came down from South Dakota and noticed, hey listen, this place is gorgeous. There's all these natural wonders, there's lakes and just really lush and beautiful. And so why not the City Beautiful, which is what the name stuck as and has been known ever since. Remember the boy band craze of the 2000s? Well, that was actually founded here in Orlando. A guy named Lou Pearlman founded Backstreet Boys, and he named it Backstreet Boys from the Backstreet Flea Market. He also founded NSYNC and O-Town, and a lot of those guys lived here in Orlando for years and years and years until they broke up with Lou, and you can kind of Google what happened from there. Yeah! Nice to see you, man.
Nice to meet you.
That's awesome to meet you, man.
I follow you all the time.
Are you serious?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Oh
yes.
man, thank you. That means a lot.
And your voice sounds the same. I wish I could take a picture with you. Cheers.
Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Just...
The state of Florida is known as the golf capital of the country. It says it on our license plates and all that kind of stuff. But the city of Orlando has over 20 golf courses within those 33 zip codes of Orlando. And then if you draw a circle around Orlando, there's another 45 of them. So it's no wonder why so many people travel from all over the world to golf here in Central Florida. So what do you guys do?
We're dog trainers.
Okay.
We do mostly board and train, mostly pets, but we take them out and make sure that they're good out in the world.
Are you right here in downtown Orlando?
We're not. We're near Tampa, but we go everywhere.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you do kids too? I've got some kids.
It's not the same.
Not so much? Okay.
Yeah.
People should hit you up. Give it TLC.
TLC dog training.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Great to meet you.
You too.
It's no surprise that Walt Disney World is the largest employer here in the city of Orlando. You have over 70,000 people that work on the single site. It's the largest single site employer in the entire country. But what most people don't know is that there's so much more to Orlando than that. We have KPMG and Deloitte and Tupperware and Lockheed Martin and so much emerging aviation and defense and tech companies that make home here in Orlando. So there's a lot of cool new jobs coming beyond hospitality, and that's fact number 15. Thanks. Number 16 is that, did you know you could see a rocket launch right here from the city of Orlando? We're only 45 minutes over from the coast where NASA, Blue Origin, SpaceX take off every single week. And so they take off at all different times of the day. At night, you can see them super well, but even in the daytime, you can see the trails, which is pretty fun. And if you haven't just popped over to the Kennedy Space Center, there's so much to do and see. Lots of history, not that expensive to get in. Make sure you check it out. Did you know that the University of Central Florida is the largest public university in the entire country? There's over 71,000 kids currently enrolled there, and you can start all the way from the freshman year of college all the way through med school. They've got on-the-job training, they've got new hospitals that they're opening for the med students that they kind of work on the job, get their training through. It's pretty amazing to see how many kids actually don't start here in Orlando, like they're not from Orlando, but that after they graduate, they don't leave, which I think is a good testament to life in Orlando. All right, Juan, thanks for the comment. I just saw you in the bus and now you already commented. You said I'm the Lynx bus driver that saw you. Keep up the great work. Man, thanks for saying hi. I love meeting people out and about. So if you see me, you see Jay Michael, we're out here shooting, make sure you say hi. All right, now that we're in the car, we'll talk about travel. So the cool thing about Orlando is that Orlando International, MCO, has international flights literally all over the world. And you're just 45 minutes from the coast, so you have opportunities to take cruises for really cheap, because Florida residents, obviously you already live here. I've got friends of mine that pop over, go on a weekend cruise for like a few $100s. And then if you want to travel internationally, kind of regardless of how your wanderlust needs to be scratched, Orlando makes that really, really easy. Is that focused? All right, so Jay, how many days a year do you think it's actually sunny here?
200.
233 days on average over the past 10 years. So, do you get nervous about hurricanes?
I don't personally.
Yeah, most people in Orlando don't really get super nervous about hurricanes. We had Charlie back in 2004, followed by Francis, and before that there was one in like 1999 that had people a little bit skirmish, but like Irma was our last really big one in 2016, and you really didn't feel it here as much. I mean, it was hard rain, you had a little bit of things, but most people think that because you live in Florida, you automatically have to worry about hurricanes. Just not so much in Orlando. But you know about Big Tree Park?
No.
So here in Thornton Park, that is, oh, there's guys coming up. So they say that's the oldest tree in Orlando at like 350 to 400 years old. All right, so number 20 on my list of things that you might not know about Orlando, facts and those sort of things, is that in 2021, U-Haul did a study on where people were moving to and less kind of going out of. And that number one place was Kissimmee, Florida, or really the Kissimmee metro area, which included Orlando. So that means that the number one place that people were moving to in last year was Central Florida, which I think is an amazing thing, being a real estate agent, obviously, but also being part of the community and watching this place here in Orlando blow up with so many people from all over the world. All right, so that's 20 plus facts about the city of Orlando, or Central Florida in general. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, as we're putting out new videos every single week. And if you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in Central Florida, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. So email me at info@positgroup.com. We'll see you guys on the next video.
Beautiful.